Good morning, welcome to Natasha Makes. It's Tilda Day. We love Tilda Day. We're very excited for Tilda Day. We first launched these fabrics. Wow, it was a soft little launch because we couldn't show them to you. Tilda likes them to be kept a big secret and off social media until the time is right, and the time is today. You have been able to buy these on our website, and if you have, then the piles of fabrics that have been cut in the warehouse and are sitting for Jane to pack make me suspect that they are all ready to go out for you today. So well done. If you've already got your Tilda, then you can sit back and relax, because I'm not expecting this to hang around for very long. Lots of you saying that you think, in your humble opinion, that this is one of her best designs so far. Log cabin. We looked at doing log cabins the other day. My scrappy log cabin. You can make it as big as you like. You can just... When you buy into a collection, what you are getting are fabrics that you just know are going to go together. So whether you are buying the 5 long quarters, whether you're buying the full collection, whether you've decided that there is a colorway and you want a ½ meter bundle of that, however, we have got you. We've absolutely got you covered today. All the Tilda in all the world, whether you're making your tea cozies, cushions, here are the fabrics, quilting, absolutely stunning. Today I've got a little bit ahead. I still feel like I'm horribly behind, but I've got a little bit ahead with the Tilda patchwork this morning, which we're going to have a little play at in a while. I've got to keep an eye on time today because I've got to be in the car at a reasonable time. So, hello, good morning, are you well? Let's check that out first. Jane, I think I've got your phone in here just in case it beeps. I think I've got Jane's phone. But she's busy helping me this morning because I've suddenly gone, I've got a lot of fabric to show everybody and I don't know if I'll have time to do everything. So fabulous Jane is busy being fabulous. Iswiz is busy cutting stuff and getting things underway. That's all frozen. That's no good, is it? Here we go. Our internet is not enjoying the weather today. Rena's here, Nikki's here, good morning. Jane's here, Liz is here, Sophie's here, Cindy's here, hello. Joy's here, good morning everybody. Chris is here, morning everyone. Marilyn, morning everyone. Love the cushion, thank you very much. Jimmy's here, good afternoon to you. And so here we are today. Still raining, Claire. Yep. Absolutely miserable. I have given up doing my hair because what's the point when you are blessed, I'm going to say blessed, with curly-ish hair. This weather is... Do you remember that episode of Friends where Monica goes to Hawaii and her hair just goes... That's me. It's contained. So, yes. You have got today various ways to get your Tilda. All of these are available while stocks last, by the ½ meter. So and we've put it on an intro price, okay, for you. These are coming directly from us. I know it causes a little bit of confusion sometimes when I then go across, because I will be at Create and Craft this afternoon. Full disclosure, I will be there with their pre-cut pretty packets. We don't stock those here. If you are buying here from us, it is us, myself, Jane, Gemma, and the crew that are selling them and sending them out for you. If you buy from Create and Craft, you are buying from Create and Craft, not from me. I am merely the demonstrator there, showing you what to do with your beautiful fabrics. So we, as ever, appreciate your support here. If you want to buy your fabrics in a different way, then obviously there is that there. But also, if you buy your patterns from Create and Craft, you are buying them from Create and Craft. You're not buying them from us. We have our patterns here, which you know. And I know it just causes some confusion, because then if you've got a question about an order, and you've bought it at Create and Craft, we can't help you here because we don't hold the order numbers, we don't hold all of that information. So if you've got a, if it comes up on your bankers from Natasha Makes, then we can help you with all of that. If it comes up as Create and Craft, then you've bought from Create and Craft and you have to go through them. But all of the fabrics that we have here is it. This is the full collection. There's nothing extra in terms of fabrics anywhere else. We have got the full collection. So what does that look like? So on the end here, you have got 10 blenders. They're not blenders. They are incredible, beautiful, standalone fabrics. But they're blenders. That's what they're known as. Don't, you know. And then you've got 4 different colorways, 5 fabrics in each one, which makes up the collection of 20. So there are 30 fabrics in total that you can get your hands on today. There is a complete collection with all 30 fabrics as a ½ meter on an incredible deal on our website if you would like to buy that way. Okay. Just love it. We don't sell fat quarters, but what we do are long quarters in this. Okay, so if you want to do things like your log cabin, things like that, then long quarters are the way forward. And if you would like a bundle of long quarters, but actually you'd really like to have it as a ½ meter, then you put 2 in your quantity box, and then we send you as a continuous length. We cut everything here. So it will be cut as a continuous length at a ½ meter. Or maybe you've popped 3 in the box because you really love it. We'll cut you a continuous length of 3/4 meter, and we always do that for the Tilda. Otherwise, most things on our website are by the ½ meter and cut incrementally from there. You guys know we've always done it this way with Tilda, and you are very good at it. You know, and you know. So NatashaMakes.com is where you can find these. Morning, Wendy. Let's have a look. So you can just get the blenders if you wish. And oh my goodness, here they are. Now, if I just show you here, so this is my patchwork, because we're going to do a patchwork sausage dog today. I've got these blenders in there, but you wouldn't point them out as being blenders. They just go into the collection effortlessly. Absolutely stunning. But having said that, because they have fewer colours in them, you can use them and mix them throughout your stash. So they are really, 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 really useful. Really, really useful. Let's have a little look. Jan says, hello all, this collection is a lovely mix of vintage and fresh new ones to my eyes. They're gorgeous, Jan. They really are very, very beautiful. So let's see where we are. Oh, let's switch that over. Bear with me, bear with me. Everything feels on a little bit of a slow go today. I don't blame it. Okay, so this is your Mira, and Mira is the name of these blenders. So we've got them then in different colorways. This is Mira Moss. I just want to show you this before we get into all of these. Can you see the selvage is bunnies? That makes me so happy. I can't tell you how happy that makes me, just to have a beautiful, beautiful selvage. And you can see 1, 2, 3, there are only 3 colors in this fabric, screen printed. So for those of you that have not come across Tilda before, Tilda is designed by a lovely lady called Tuna Fananga, and she's quite reclusive really. She does not like to come off out of her little bit of the world, which is fair enough. I was very lucky one time to actually interview her, which was fantastic, a real honour, and she's absolutely lovely, lovely, lovely lady. Like us, she sews and crafts in her pyjamas. Perfect, I salute you. And her husband says some days he goes out to work and comes back and she's still in her pyjamas. I think we can all relate. So this one here is Mira Sage. And you've got this delicate. If you are wanting plains to go with this, by the way, then I would say go for natural seeded cotton, goes beautifully, never pick white. Go for ivory, sometimes cream, but never, never white. It's too stark with Tilda, just too stark. You can see here that's not a white background. Look, you can even see bunny number 2 is that background colour. So this would work really beautifully with our natural seeded cotton. And I don't know if, oh, I've got a little spider walking along there. If you want me to just show you the colorways here. This one is Mirror Slate. And then we have got this one, which is, which colour are you? Lavender. Mirror Lavender. And then this one is Mirror Blue. So they are the first few. Let's pop those. They're the first 5. So you get an idea of the pattern. And then we've got Mirror in Ochre. This is a really good blender because we struggled to get this gold colour in. So to have this, to be able to blend through this is absolutely fantastic. This is the Sanctuary collection, by the way. I didn't actually say that. What does it say on the end? Caramel, Mirror Caramel. Very beautiful. Mirror Pink. And again, you can see the normal colour of the selvage of the background fabric. And that's all Jane's coming in with a great big box of stuff. Thank you, Jane. And then this is Mirror Rhubarb. How very, very rude. Rhubarb, Jane, rhubarb. Thank you. Yeah, it is. Could you grab me one of the seam makers as well? Yeah. Thank you. This one's fabulous. This is Mirror Cream. So if you want all of those neutral toads? Who's got a toad? Tone. Then your Mirror Cream does that job effortlessly. It's not Mirror Toads, is it? Eh? Not at all, Jane. Not at all. So there we go. That is the very first bit of it. Gemma's just messaged me. Is that hello to YouTubers? YouTubers, there we go. Good morning to you. Sarah says, morning Natasha and everyone. Morning. Morgan's here. She says, sorry, I ducked out early on last night's Zoom. Still got a nasty cough and didn't think it fair to continue. That's all right. You've been off camping and doing exciting things. Jill's here. Morning. Helen's here. Good morning. Sue's here. Morning, Sue. And Ali H. Hello. Jill would like to know where to join the Zoom group. So we have something called the Natasha McCarthy Design Members. If you go to natashamakes.com, go to the membership area, you can click the link and join through there. We have a chatty Zoom every month and we have a workshop Zoom every month. There's no pressure to join. As part of that membership, we upload videos on a regular basis for various patterns and makes. So there's a library there. Join, leave whenever you want. Those videos are only available for the length of your subscription. But it just means we have a nice little chat a couple of times a month. There we go. That's just for anybody that is interested, and you sometimes get first dibs on things or special offers or things that don't come out into the public domain, if you will. I'm going to pop that there, move that across, There we are. Yeah, for the price of a pattern a month, basically. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go with this first bundle. These are our greens. Whew. They're greens and they're pinks and they're very, very beautiful. And they are available on the website. Oh, Cynthia's here. Morning, Cynthia. Oh, yeah. So Cynthia said on one of our Zooms the other day, we've introduced her to Tilda, so she's having to find it in Ohio. Jill says that sounds amazing. Thank you. Our absolute pleasure. Oh, Auntie Lizzie's there as well. Hello, Auntie Lizzie. Oh, and Anne as well from an overcast Cyprus. I can't even tell you what the weather's like here. It's grim. It's much better to be in and sewing. Let's have a look. This is Adina. in grey green. Where's Patsy? That's what I want to know. This is beautiful. So because Tilda, or Tuna, let's actually give her a real name, because Tuna Fananga is a crafter herself, she knows what we need. She knows we need these larger prints, our ditsies, our medium sizes, in darks, lights, mid-tones. She knows what we need. This is Sanctuary, again, in that grey green. It's a really stunning shade, really stunning. And then this is Daisy Dream in Pistachio. Stunning. And if you're buying into the greens bundle, this is what you'll be getting. Cotton Fields Grey Green. Gorgeous, aren't they? Just so beautiful. And then here we have got Larissa. Hello, Larissa. And that is Larissa in your grey greens. So basically you will pretty much get these in whichever colourway you choose to go for. And they all blend exquisitely together. Gemma, could you possibly let me know when the other thing that we were talking about this morning is loaded and I can tell everybody about that? That'd be fabulous, thank you very much. So let's have a look. These are your purpley blues. I think we've just called them blues. They are kind of purple. Eggplant. Have a look on the website, natashamakes.com. You'll find them all there. So this is Adina in Eggplant. Now just imagine, so you could sash with this. You could have, this is going to be very, very versatile because you're going to get some really interesting patterns if you cut across it that way. And then this is Sanctuary here. Gosh, I can already feel these bolts are quite light already. You've had a good go at these already. I don't blame you. I do not blame you at all. Thanks, Jem. So this one here is Daisy Dream Pitch Blue. If you love your blues. But this is blues and purples. Oh, gorgeous. And then your next one is Cotton Field in Eggplant. But you've got those blues throughout there, so they blend. And also when you buy into Tilda Fabrics, you know she's going to use the same colour palette every time. So it might not be exactly the same. She might bring in more mustards or whatever and blend through. But you know she's very, very clever. She's been doing this for a long time. You know that when you buy into a Tilda collection, it's going to sit into your collection perfectly that you have at home already. So I always buy the blues, and it's going to get quite big now. I get natural seeded cotton, and I'm just doing a block of Tilda, a block of plain, block of Tilda, block of plain, and I've been doing this for years, and I don't know when to stop because every time I think I finish, she brings out a new collection and it's beautiful. And I'm like, oh, come on. So it's the never-ending quilt. It might never be made. Here we go. These are your mustards and your browns. These are really autumnal, perfect. These are the perfect colours for a day like today when you know that we're heading into autumn. But look, she brings in this incredible teal, which is just stunning. So this is your Adina in ochre. It's rich and warm and earthy. And this is your Sanctuary in caramel. Perfect for this time of year. Absolutely perfect. And Daisy Dreams in tan. So again, bringing in that real warmth of colour there. Just stunning. And then here you've got your Cotton Fields ochre with, again, with that pink and that teal in there. Such a gorgeous range. Just stunning. And then the last one in that collection there is your Larissa in caramel. There we go. Oh, so that's 3 out of the 4 colorways. Now I know some people that just buy the blenders and just use those because A, they are beautiful, and B, you know, they're very easy to use. But then some of you will just go for the whole shebang. And I can't fault that either, quite frankly. Shall we have a look at the reds? Let's have a look. So here we are. I love the fact that my team have put these together for me in order. I just love that. This is a Dina in maroon. It's because Wiz has been cutting these because so many of you have already bought. This is your Sanctuary warm. Beautiful, isn't it? And again, you could mix that through the previous bundle. You've got those teals in there. It would work. And then this one's lovely. This is your Daisy Dream in rhubarb. Beautiful. See, I love Tilda with cork. I think it works an absolute treat. This is your Cotton Field in maroon. Just beautiful. Gemma, my question to you, do we still have any of our Tilda scrap bags left? Last week we were using up the last of our last collection and we had a few scrap bags. I'm not sure if they've all gone. This is Larissa in rhubarb, but that would mean that you could make these go even further. They would sit in with the other collections. Look at the teal in there with those pinks. Oh, it's so beautiful. But because you can see there's a lot of fabric here, we always have to make room. Make room, make room. So there they are. They are today's fabrics. Jane does that quilt tomorrow, which I can't, so excited for that. Now the other thing to have a look on the website for, 2 mini scrap bags left, is that all? Oh, my goodness me. Now, I'm just trying to find them. I know that a lot of you love Odal. We all do. And on the last 2 Friday deals, we have had gorgeous Odal kits. And the orders have been placed and they're being shipped. And then they will go out to you. So we're doing Odal at the moment on a pre-order basis because we never know. We don't like people to be disappointed. And in the past, we've waited for it to come in, and then we've not ordered enough. So what we're doing at the moment is doing it on a pre-order basis. Now, the velvet borders, and I've just seen one. I'm just thinking, have I got any velvet borders here? What have I made with the velvet borders? Bear with me while I just grab a make out of Odal's velvet borders. We've done pencil cases, we've done all sorts out of Odal's velvet borders before. I could just see this sitting on top of the cupboard. This was a basket that I did out of one of the Odal velvet borders. This was one of my favourite fabrics, just exquisite. So if you've worked with her velvet borders before, then you will know what you are getting yourself in for. If you haven't, they are delightful. Just try a metre. Humour me, try a metre. We're going to make the most exquisite things with them. So. The latest collection of Odal's borders are on the website, available for pre-order. I'm so excited for these, so excited. We are going to need to have your orders in. Oof. When are we going to get those orders in? Probably by Friday. We'll put another extra reminder in on the Friday newsletter, but then, yeah, they need to, oh, hang on. These are other things that we've made out of Odal. So out of the same sort of border stripe, velvet border stripe. Oh. Bear with. So yeah, we've had this. I did that with a cork base. And then, yeah, the pencil cases. I've had this one now for years. And we've done pencil case kits out of Odal. Oh, forever. They're just stunning. And that just takes half a metre. So if you're buying a metre, you could get 2 of those. There you go. So that's just a little aside because, you know, if you've already got your Tilda, then you might want a new treat. A new treat. Now, today we're going to do the sausage dog. And you've got various templates. What I will say is, if you need me to, I can add the seam allowance. As this stands, and I've got to scan this and send this across to Gemma, I've only put the stitch line on here. But if it would be better for you, I can add the seam allowance on, and then you've got 2 ways to use your templates. But if you have got a seam maker, then that is perfect. You can add whatever seam allowance you like. So we're going to make this little chap up here. I made the original one out of flannel. Feels phenomenal. And he is all ready for Christmas. There he is. This is the super long sausage dog. So in your pattern, Jane's just cut me a few pieces beforehand. Bless her. Did I need 2 of these? Yes, I did need 2 of these, and I told you no, I didn't, Jane. That was very, very silly of me. Right, okay. 2 ears. There we go. Jane! She might kill me. She might kill me. She'd have good reason to kill me. You know when I said I didn't need 2 tummy pieces? I was absolutely lying.
I thought you were.
Yeah. Thank you. We've got plenty to be getting on with before then. So you're going to cut 2 tail pieces. Honestly, I was in a little bit of a flap, wasn't I, before the show? Slight flap. Yes. School runs, wet days, are not my favourite thing. I'd had this ridiculous hope that I might get my hair done. No. Right. So what we've got are 2 earpieces. 2 earpieces. And then this is your template. So Jane's added a seam allowance on, more or less. We're going to put them right sides together to create the ears. I'm going to just draw around. Can I see enough in the green pen? And this will be my stitch line. If you want to, you can put this on any size scrappy fabric and just sew that. But if you want to add a given seam allowance, then you can. Can I see that okay? Yes, I can. Good. Oh, look, she's even fussy cut that. This has been a joint effort because I decided this morning that I wanted to do it as a patchwork, which meant I've been frantically cutting 2.5-inch strips and sub-cutting into 2.5-inch squares, and as you do when you have an idea, and you simply have to do that. So I'm going to pin these, and then we're going to sew these ears on that line. On that line. But yeah, let me know if you would prefer to have that seam allowance added as well, then just let me know. So right sides together on both of those. I tend to start on the straightest bit. And let's just shorten that stitch length as well. Now you can make this sausage dog longer or shorter. Gemma and I were discussing this before we came to air. that bit is entirely up to you. If you want to shorten him, lengthen him, I'll show you the bit in the pattern where you can add length or take length out if you want a shorter one. I measured mine on the doors, on my door frames, and went, right, I need it to be this length, and that will work, please and thank you. So that's why they are the size they are. But they can be smaller if you wish. If you wish. And that, again, is entirely up to you. And again, you don't have to patchwork. Like you can see behind me, I did my little chap up there just out of the flannels, and he is super cozy, and I've had to keep him out of the way of the puppy so that he makes it to the show. Because, you know, she's a piranha, and that's a real thing. And then I'm going to just draw around the tail. Now, stuffing. What are we stuffing with? We sell stuffing here. Or if you want him as a door stopper, just so around that tail piece. Are we right sides together? Yeah. If you want him as what was I saying? Yeah, if you want him as a door stopper, then you might want, or not as a door stopper, a draught excluder, then you might want to add a bit of weight. Now that might look like stuffing with your scraps, which I'm going to do today. He's stuffed with normal toy stuffing. So there's your tail. You've got a little bit of an extra seam there, and that's the bit you're going to stuff into the bottom. If you want to get your pinking shears and pink around here, have I got my iron on? No, I have not. That is very silly of me. I did the school run and turned it off, which was very sensible of me. Well done me. But if you want to take any of that bulk out, then you can. Now you might be going, well, how are you going to turn those ears through? What's going to happen? Well, they get sewn on. So on one side, on the underside. Now we've done him so that every single bit is a different bit of fabric. But you've got to decide which one you want on top. Your under ear, your under flap. That doesn't sound great, does it? and go with a little snip in there. See, that's all very good stuffingy stuff. Look at that, that works. And if you've got a seam ripper like that, then that's great. You've got a guide to marking on there, but basically just enough on the underside. Is all. You don't want to go through both sides, so pull it. Oh no, I don't want to do it on that side. I want to have that as the underside there. So pull it apart. Thanks, Jane. Okay. Has it got a full belly now? Should have, yeah. He's eaten. Or you can just make a little nick. And then snip down with your little snip. Where are all my little snips? I think they're all in my tweeze. So when you've made your snip, you're going to turn it through and you're going to give it a press. My iron's just warming up. For the simple reason that you will then, you're not going to see that bit. As with all these things, my top tip is to go to the furthest point. Do you know, I always get a little bit nervous when I'm making something that I made, even though it was only sort of a couple of weeks ago that I made my sausage dog. Right, can I remember which order I did everything in? because that was the day of the migraine that I made my sausage dog, so I wasn't entirely with it. So I've now got to, make sure that I do remember how to do all of these things. If you've got on your sewing machine, if you have got the ability to drop your needle and lift the foot so that you can twizzle, that's brilliant. But otherwise, here are our ears. You can see where I've suddenly shortened my stitch, and it's suddenly gone it's gone much better. So a shorter stitch length is always key on these, for sure. There we go. Get your finger in there. If you've got a turning through tool, now we had some on our website for a Friday deal. Not sure if they've all gone, but I knew that we were doing this. Like, what we are going to need will be turning through tools, just because it makes any kind of toy making a little bit easier. So we now have a couple of ears, and like I say, they will be sewn on. If you've got a doll needle, they're great, because when you sew, we'll sew through the head. It sounds brutal, doesn't it? But we will sew through the head, and that's how we will do that, to sew those on. Let me see. If you don't have a turning through tool, if you still have our forceps, they're another great way to turn to turn stuff through. That's what Lisa Chandler always uses. There we go. Oh, there are two turning tool sets left, but you can just see how much easier that makes turning his little tail through. Just go easy. You don't want to be poking through the fabric. This is another reason why we go for a smaller stitch length. Now, we did also have a toy stuffing tool. What have I done with mine? I've put mine somewhere really, really useful. Toy stuffing tools are brilliant. But otherwise, just going to stuff a bit in here, because they sort of pinch whatever it is that you're putting in and stuff it all the way up. Otherwise, the flatter end of your turning through tool is your friend. So yes, you can use proper stuffing, is great if you want it to be lighter weight. Two in stock. That's it. This is your stuffing tool, and it gets right in there. Thanks, Jane. She's proper listening today. Here we go. But this just means none of your fabrics are ever wasted if you use them. I've got a massive bag over there that I keep all my offcuts for. Now, you can see, using your offcuts for stuffing, it's not quite as easy to get it in, but it's cheaper, you know, if that's a factor for you, and also heavier if you're going to use it either as a door stopper or as a draught excluder. Then you might want that extra weight that this allows you. Or you might want to do a little bit of toy fill and a little bit of this and mix it up, and that's okay too. There we go. just trim that, stuff that, and we are all good. So we've got ears and we've got a tail. We are getting there. We're all good. Now, let me explain to you about the pattern and the pattern pieces. You can, so we've done those. This is your mid underbelly. If you want to extend or shorten, this is the bit that you're going to either extend or shorten on this bit here. And that joins onto there, like so. And then that will then sew onto there. If you have enough fabric, and again, this is going to be down to the direction of your fabric, you can either do this in 3 parts and sew them together, or you can do it as one longest part and then sew that on. But this is just depending on how patchworky you want him to be. So you can just sew all 3 bits together. If you're doing that, please do exactly the same with the top. Okay, so there's his bottom. I don't know that I've made that long enough. I'm missing a bit. I'm missing a bit. I'm missing the next bit along. It's fine. I know how long it is. But this was to show that you can... Where is my other... There should be another one like that to make him super, super duper long. It's fine. We'll add it on as we go. So it might be that you do just want to have that and you don't want him that long. That's entirely up to you. You can section it as you wish. Okay, that is absolutely fine to do that. I know how long that middle stretch is, so that's okay. We're going to cut out this first bit and use that as a template, or we can do it as a oneer. But here it is. So I'm just going to do the front as a patchwork, and then the other side is just going to be plain. Okay, so we are going to, we'll cut this out. So we can be a little bit cut and shunt, if you will. Now you want to keep this mark here and transfer that onto your page. So this, again, this is my sewn line. This hasn't got a seam allowance added. I will add the seam allowance onto the template that you get, so that you can then make 2 templates out of it. One with the seam allowance, one without. So you've got your stitch line and then the one without. Okay, so we can pop him on there, and then his bottom is going to be over there. Yeah. And then we just need to add a little bit in between. If we do this, if we can do this bit in one go, then we can take out that seam allowance. Here we go. So we'll cut cut that as well. I will give you all the instructions on how to create these templates. We've got tail placement in there, all sorts, all the information that you need to be on these templates for you. Whee. But like I say, those middle bits there are the ones if you want to add on or take away, then they are your bits. There we go. So, let's pop in there. Now we've got to add a seam allowance. Okay, so I'm just making sure, because this is, imagine this is another strip of paper. I can't find what I've done with the other one. I've left it on the printer or something, because I gave a whole load to Jane earlier. Right, okay. So if you do have a width of fabric that you can lay it all out in one go, then do that. Like, that is your easiest way to do that. But if you're working with half meters or fat quarters or something like that, you might not have that luxury, which is why we are working on this as we are. Now, this front patchwork bit has been done with quilter's grid. Now, if you are unfamiliar with quilter's grid, I can show you that in just a second. And what I've done is cut little 2.5 inch strips. And this is quilter's grid. This is a little sample piece. And you can see there's a grid on one side. These are the scraps off the end of the rolls. And you would use the grids to place your squares. You place your squares, you would adhere them onto there. You then, in rows, you can see I've folded. So I'll have another row of squares there. I've folded it onto itself and sewn 1/4 inch. And so on and so forth. And then done it the other way, so across there, which gives you the absolute perfect patchwork that we've got going on here. Now the markers that I've said, make sure you mark that. I'm going to mark that onto here. This mark is going to be where you want to line up when you get your tummy piece. That's where the end of the tummy piece is going to line up to. So it's also going to be your start and stop. You might not want to do your first one with a patchwork. It does bring in lots of different seams and bits and bobs to just take into consideration. You might just want to do this guy just in a plain. Just in a plain, and that is absolutely fine too. And here we go. So around to there. And then round there. Around the snout. And into here. This bit is quite interesting. We're going to look at that bit very closely because that's how you're going to get the shape of the head. Okay. Now remember, this is my stitch line, okay? And I'm going to start and stop here and here and sew over the top, okay? Let me find. What shall we do on the other side? Ooh. Yeah, you can see, can't you? If you want to do this out of a one size piece of fabric, then you've got to have, well, this is just under 1 metre piece, which is why we've done it in the sections for you. Okay. But as we're here, and as we do have that fabric, let's do it right sides together. That's going to help. Because I know that I don't normally give myself any kind of time constraint, but I know I've got to be in the car today, and I know that the weather's not very nice. So here we go. And I can pin that together. And I can cut that as one. Otherwise, we will be piecing. And that's totally fine too. Magic pins, the patchwork ones, should be arriving any day. I've got some more of those on order. They've been out of stock for forever. But oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, Gemma, we can load another 10 sets of those in the 50s. So they are back in stock. They are my favourite pin by far. They're just so easy to use, and I can heat them as well, which is just perfect. Now, we're going to cut around here. Oh. Ba, 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 ba. YouTube, good morning. Natasha says, Glenys, do you ever do any simple toys with fleece? I haven't sewn with fleece and stretchy fabrics, and I'm a bit nervous to try. No, Glenys, but there's no reason why we can't. Not at the moment, but there's no reason why we can't. Right, I'm going to rough cut a seam allowance along here. If you want it absolutely perfect, and I would really recommend that you do it perfectly, either use the larger template that I'll do for you, or use your seam thingy. Okay, and in order to use these, so if I wanted to add a seam allowance to my ears, say, then I would pick the size seam allowance I want, put my pen in there, it helps if my pen works, there we go, and just go around there like that, and that adds my seam allowance to it. It's not going to work so well on here because I've got the back of my patchwork, but if I wasn't doing patchwork, that is exactly what I would be doing. Oh, Gemma's just told me, don't miss the questions from Glenys. I'm on it. If you stuff with your scraps, can you still wash it? Will it dry inside properly? If you wash it, firstly, put a colour catcher in, because if you've got different colours in there, please use a colour catcher. I don't see why it wouldn't dry, because if it's just fabric, there's no reason why it won't. It will dry eventually. I've not tried that. I'm going to say I've not tried doing it that way. If you want something that's going to definitely dry properly, then use your toy fill. Okay, I'm hoping I'm not going to have to pop this in the washing machine. So we're going to add a seam allowance on here. As we go around. Now, the beauty of adding, using your seam guide, is that I will want this pattern on the back, drawn on the back as well. And if I've used my seam guide, then I know that I can place it centrally, and that will be absolutely fine. None of these scraps will get wasted at all. Not at all. Oh, the two questions above. Oh, I'm struggling to decide which Tilda to buy. So far, I've got all the colorways and the Sanctuary fabric, plus a couple of blenders. Undecided how. What could I make out of a ½ metre, please, as debating whether I should get a metre. Janet, the more fabric that you have, the more you can make. That's the thing, isn't it? You can see here that if I'd had a metre, then I can cut this in one length. If I'd have had a ½ metre, I would have had to have put a join in it. Okay, having said that, if I patchworked the front and the back, then I would only be using up my scraps. How many projects do you want to do? Oh, nope. So we've got, if you look at the back here, if you look at the back here, these are just 2.5 inch strips. The thing with Tilda, she doesn't reprint. Okay, and this isn't a big sales spiel, it just is fact. It's just read very neutrally for you. She does not reprint her fabrics. So if you think at some point you're going to want a metre, get it now. Just get it now. We will cut it as a continuous length. When it's gone, it's gone. Okay, she doesn't do reprints of her fabric. She does a collection, she shuts the door on it, she moves on to the next. So if you have a fabric here that is your absolute favourite, just get what you think you're going to need of it, because I can't say that it's going to be there again. That is the thing. I can't say it's going to be there again. Can it be adapted to a doorstop, or is that a silly question? No, Chris, that is absolutely fine. Like I say, you would just take this middle section out. You'll just take the middle section out. What I will do, I will redraw all the templates for you so that you can have them as like a cut and shunt if you want. Okay, would that just be easier? I will redo the templates so that you can have the middle bit or not have the middle bit. You can add it to one side and have a great long length so that you can use it as a ½ metre and then have that, or we'll do it like that. So then you can choose how long you want your sausage dog to be, because then you can just have him as a door stopper, because you think otherwise, if we hadn't added that 12.5 inches in that middle bit, where'd we be looking? That to there. He'd be there. That's how big it'd be. It'd be about there. There you go. And then you just have them as a door stopper. So I can do that. I can do, and then it becomes kind of 2 patterns in one, if you will. If that works better for you, then I will do that. And actually, that probably makes, that probably makes making a digital pattern easier for us, because they'll go onto A4 pieces of paper more easily. So yeah, I can just redo those templates very, very easily, because we haven't set this live as a digital yet. No problem, Chris. We can do that. And I'll put a little extra bit in the instructions to that effect. There you go. Some people say, why don't you set your digitals live during the shows? Because when we get asked questions like that, I like to be able to bring you the patterns in the way that you want to use them. So the digitals will take a little bit longer. just to make sure there's no other amendments. Otherwise, I've got until tomorrow to get this pattern printed off to go in the orders for tomorrow. Okay, so there we go. That is your dachshund as he stands. So we're going to sew from there across the back and up and then round. Okay, on that smaller stitch, and that's why that marker is there. If you want to add a little bit of medium weight interfacing, if you're just using a plain fabric, then do. I didn't interface my my brush cotton at all when I did this, and it was no problem. Round we come. I'm just going to sew across the top here for a minute. We'll look at that bit in a minute. That little bit that has the V. So coming round, and take out some of these pins now, which is great. Okay. If you want pinking shear around, please do that. It does make a difference. Now it adds a little bit of time onto the demo, but it does make a difference to how well it lies. Takes out a little bit of bulk, even if you just do it in the curvy bits through there. You don't want to stitch, you don't want to cut through, by the way, and then just up to, not to, but you lot know that. Any of you that did the applique quilts that we did with Lisa will know that. Okay, so let's talk about this. I'm going to transfer this mark onto the other side. No, not with this, but that's the piece I want. Okay, so I did that thing of not checking I'd caught the stitches. Let me just catch those stitches there. I don't know why I've shifted that ever so slightly. Mine's going to have a slightly narrower snout. Okay, so what you're going to do is pull apart the head there, okay, and you're going to sew across. So marry up the lines. You can see it probably on this side best. Marry up those lines and you're just going to sew all the way across the head there, and it's what it's doing is giving it some shape. Okay, and it phases in, gets wider across the top of the head and then out again. And if you want to take that little bit of bulk off, then you can, but that bit really doesn't matter. Okay, so you can see all of a sudden his head's got shape and he's starting to come to life, and this is all very fabulous. So in that regard, you can see those stitch lines across the top, which means that you can just use your template then to mark around here, because this is going to be our sewn line. So we finished there, and around the paws. Across to there. All the questions. Yeah, it's a good size for a doorstop. I'm glad you like it, Chris. I suppose we could make him with charm squares. You could, yes, you could. So let me show you. These are 2.5 inch squares, Chris. If you made him, he'd. Where's my perfect 5? Where is my perfect 5? I had it earlier. If you made him with, he would just be. You could. It would be a different look entirely. You absolutely could. So we get to there, and then let's get his little bottom here. And this is the beauty of it, you see, because we've sewn on that line, we know we can come down here. This is just going to give us our sewing line. E for the tummy. Okay, so let's look at these. Whoops. Let's look at these little tummy lines. So these, we've got, again, 2 pieces right sides together here. Lovely Jane. She's sellotaped my pieces together to make him one long length. Okay, so he will sew in there. So this is the underbelly, if you will. Okay, and that is going to sit there and go all the way along up to there. Okay, this underbelly piece you don't want to do in one go. Okay, for the simple reason that you're going to need to stuff him. Okay, so what you can do is, I'm just going to mark this off here. Now let me just draw around this quickly. And you are going to have to draw around both of these bits. Okay. And that is your marker there. You can sew along this bit. Just take that off. Let's just I'm just going to ask Jane. Jane, could you let that puppy out, please, for a little wee? That's my end bit there. She's in her crate. Yeah. Now, what I can do is on this top bit here, I can fold back there and match that on there. What that's going to do is give me a seam allowance. Oh, has she? Brilliant. Oh, that was why I could hear her getting excited then, because Penny was here. Everybody's here. And that's going to give me something to stuff. Okay. So let me show you that here. So we can flip these. Pin these back together because we're going to sew along the top. Unpin the pattern, but I still need to have those bits pinned. And pin these bits here together. And again, at this bit, you can see where I've just folded that back. You can fold that back there. And that's going to give you a nice, easy slip stitch. It's going to give you a stuffing hole for stuffing his tummy, but it also means that you've got a place to, let me just do that there, then slip stitch that tummy closed. That is going to be that turning through, well, it's going to be a turning through gap. Or the other thing that you can do that might be easier if you want stuff is just leave a turning through gap in there. So if you would rather, if that looks too difficult for you, then you can just marry those two marks together. So I know that that mark there needs to match to that mark there. Again, because these are your sewn lines that we're matching. And just sew straight down across that seam. And give yourself a continuous length. That's the easiest thing to do. Okay, so now I've got a continuous tummy piece and I can trim that away. And we'll do the same with the purple bit. And you can see, this will be this side, how that is going to sit in there. In there like so. And match up there. There we go. So let's marry that. Let me just trim that back. So just check yourself, you know, because it's slightly different because we've done this as as one continuous piece and one piece that we're piecing. So if you're unsure in any way, just make sure that your paws and your belly match. I had a slight, maybe 1/4 of an inch out, so I'm just making sure that yes, my paws, everything there is going to match. Perfect. Good job. Happy days. Okay. And I'm going to do exactly the same here. So that front and back is exactly the same. So let me just mark those lines that I need to have match. I want that to match there, and I want that to match there. And they will go right sides together. And sew across there, as we did with the other one. Again, check it, because if you need to unpick anything, now is your time. Make sure that you are happy with that length there. Yeah, that all matches. And again, this will be marked on your template. I'm just trying to, I know I'm rushing this a little bit, I do apologise. Right. So trim away any excess. Don't know where that bit came from. Sewn a bit in, a bit extra in. Amazing. Right. And let's go right sides together again. Because what we want to do is sew along that top seam and then fit it under that tummy. Okay. So make sure, and yeah, look, we have sewn on that line. Make sure you can see your stitch lines. I'm going to stitch all the way up across there. Okay. Oh, Crystal says she's glad to discover that we sell quilters grid, as she loved it and struggled to find it for sale. I've just bought another couple of rolls of it because I know it's so popular. It's the easiest way to get quilting, really is the easiest way. Some people are like, it's a cheat, it's a cheat. No, it's not. No, it's not. Now, somewhere along here, you can leave a gap for turning through if you haven't left it across here. Oh, hang on. Bear with me. Hello? Oh, wrong one. There you go. I've just sewn along the belly and apparently given you the holding stream. Sorry, everybody. So to catch you up, I've just sewn all the way along the top, leaving a turning through gap. That was not very useful of me, was it? At all. Sorry. You can press that open if you wish. I'm not going to because my marker pen disappears with heat. So that would be not my very best move. But if you've used a marker pen that doesn't disappear with heat, brilliant. That's the one. So we need to remember which side. This is going to come up the front end here. And so we peel back. And we match up. Okay. So where we stopped sewing is where we're going to mark up to there. Making sure that middle seam line is in there. And then around there. Do one at a time. Okay, don't try and stitch both sides of the belly. It's not going to work. Okay, so just stitch one. As long as you make sure that seam line is center for both of them. If you want to put that across there, across both of them, you do. Then you're just going to go down one side of your sausage and sew in place. Okay. And if you want to pin as much as you can or you want, then that's fine. And this is why we draw the template on both sides. Because then we can sew from either side. And these are our tummy bits. Along here. And along here. Just realised I forgot to sew in the tail. So over here I will unpick a little bit up here and pop his tail in. How could I forget his tail? It's because I am chatting too much. And again, tail placement is a very, very personal thing. Wherever you want to pop his tail. I've made a suggestion on the pattern as to where you might want to pop that tail. Just open that seam up a little bit. Pop the tail in there. And I will just restitch that bit up so that he has a tail, because that would be a terrible situation to have a dachshund without a tail. Right. So pin everything in place. Pin up to there. There's your seam. So we're going to sew from this part here all the way down and around. Okay, that's sitting nicely there. And all the way along, and then we will do exactly the same on the other side. Okay, what you've got, so you see that starts to happen, and that starts to happen there, and then what you've got is a stuffing hole. Where do we live? There. So you'll be able to turn through and then stuff. But you're going to follow that drawn line along there. Everything marries up. You can see how that's going to sit really nicely through there and all the way around, and then you've got your tail. And then to do the ears, you can pop a little bit of fill in them if you want. I didn't. With the sides that you cut facing, pop them either sides like that and sew them in once he's all turned through. I've just seen the time and I am going to have to dash any second. I feel awful because I hate leaving a demo partway through. But you can see how that little sausage is coming together, an absolute treat there. I will, on the pattern, do the middle bit as a separate chunk, so you can miss the middle bit out completely and have him as a shorter door stopper, or you can add it onto one side and then sew it as we have, or you can have it as one great long piece if your fabric or directional fabric allows. If you're working with a non-directional fabric, then that's easy. It's just going to go down the strip of your fabric. Happy days. But if you're after a directional fabric, then you are going to have to look at that. Guys, I am so sorry. I have got to dash. Hound. But I will be back with Jane tomorrow when we do this quilt here. I will finish this off and I will show him to you tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. Please get your orders for Odal's velvet border in. That's really important. Order whatever you need to of the Tilda. I know I'm going to Create and Craft. They only have the pre-cuts, the jelly rolls, stuff like that. They don't sell it by the half metre. They don't sell it by the meterage there at all. That is us. If you are buying from us, like I say, you are buying here from us at Natasha Makes. Otherwise, you are buying from Create and Craft. So if you have any issue with your order, I can't help you with that. Okay. So thank you ever so much for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure. I will see you with Jane tomorrow for a spot of cave. Take care. Lots of love. Bye-bye.
Are those the Chicago screw 3 size ones? With it